Welcome to Pelotonia 2021 opening ceremony, here at the new home of the Columbus crew, Lower.com Field.
Family, the unbreakable bond that ties us together for a lifetime. The bond that pushes us to keep moving forward no matter the circumstance. Our blood is thicker than blood. Home, the place where our family resides. For us, a home is a dream to pursue, a space to create memories and to celebrate all life's accomplishments. A new home is something every family looks forward to. The summertime smell of fresh grass, the electric sound of lights turning on, the sweet feeling of hosting your first party. Columbus, we've closed on our new home and we are ready for a new era. And although change is here, our traditions remain the same. After all, family is a place we call home. We've been working toward this day for a long time. It's here now, and I'm proud to be home. We are the crew, we are family, and our home is Lower.com Field.
Please welcome soccer star, Olympian, and 9-time Pelotonia rider, Dante Washington.
That is the longest I've ran in about 15 years. Welcome to Pelotonia 21 and our new home of the Columbus crew. Now, this actually is our first non-crew event, but we're really happy to be a part in downtown Columbus. And it's my pleasure and honor to kick off Pelotonia weekend with all of you, because really, this is one of my most favorite times of the year, and I know it is for you too. So, as you heard, as a member of the 1992 Olympic men's soccer team, 9-year MLS veteran, 4 of which was right here in Columbus, I've been on my fair share of teams, but what I'm most proud of is being a 9-year rider of the greatest team ever. We all have our Pelotonia story, and mine started in 2010. And that started with the inspiration of riding in memory of my grandmother, who passed away from cancer when I was 14 years old. Now, she was more like a mother than a grandmother. I was more like her 5th son rather than her first grandchild. And I was a caregiver, and that was a really pivotal point in my life. And in 2010, Pelotonia happened on what would have been her 80th birthday. And as I learned more about Pelotonia, I knew I had to be a part of it, and I'm glad to still be a part of it now. And since then, I've ridden 9 years, and I'm excited to ride again tomorrow. Now, the interesting thing is when I rode in 2010, I hadn't been on a bike for about 30 years. I didn't own a bike. I had no idea what I was going to do. So I bought a bike and rode for 100 miles, and I'm telling you, that was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Now, for me, Pelotonia is about a couple different things. First, it's about community. It's about being with a group of like-minded individuals who all are raising funds for cancer research to end cancer. And being a part of this, and being a part of Pelotonia, is the true definition and defines being a part of something that's much larger than yourself. And we've done so much over the years. Since the beginning, we've raised over $200 million, and I'm excited to be a part as we continue to grow this number. And it's also, for me, about gratitude. It's that special feeling we all have of riding our bike, riding with strangers who kind of feel more like friends, and some of them become friends. That sense of accomplishment that we all have after riding for hours and hours and miles and miles. And I like talking to the first-time riders to get their feedback, like, what was it like? And we all know it's a lot more than just a ride. It's an experience, and this is a movement. And finally, it's about purpose. Knowing that our funds, 100% of our funds, go directly to cancer research at the James. And sometimes that purpose becomes personal. And it became personal for me, my wife, and her family in 2019 when my father-in-law was misdiagnosed in Southern Ohio, and we were able to get him into the James, and they diagnosed him with cancer in the nasal cavity. He, his wife, their golden retriever, Justice, traveled for months between Southern Ohio to Columbus, hauling their Airstream, staying in a campsite so that he could get treated. And I'm happy to say he is now cancer-free. So as I close, I have to say thank you to all of you, the sponsors, the doctors, the nurses, volunteers, and whoever brings the pickle juice, because that's my personal favorite. To all the riders, be safe tomorrow, enjoy the ride, and I can't wait to be out there with you. And now, I'd like to introduce our MC for the evening. She's a TV host, content producer, model, former Miss Teen USA, with a very personal connection to cancer. She's the co-host of MTV's hit series, Catfish, and is excited to join us tonight to celebrate the impact of the Pelotonia community. All the way from Los Angeles, California, please help me welcome Kamie Crawford.
I think so. Am I here? You hear me? Hi. Thank you so much, Dante, and thank you guys so much. I am so happy to be here to kick off the opening ceremony for Pelotonia's Ride Weekend of 2021. Who is excited? Okay, I like this energy. We're going to keep this energy up all night, right? All right, well, thank you guys so much for having me. This is a cause that is really close to my heart and my family. I don't think I really know anyone who has not been touched at some point in their lives with cancer. For my family, it was my grandfather who passed away of pancreatic cancer a few years ago, and you know, it was devastating, but I'm so happy to be here in this room tonight with this energy. Everyone is so excited to raise funds and do everything that we can in the name of cancer research. So thank you all for being here. I'm so excited that you can have me here tonight. On top of all of that, my mom is an Ohio State Buckeye and very proud. Do we have any Buckeyes in the house? See, I knew that would get you guys going. I know what to do. I was also born in Cleveland, Ohio. I know we're far from there, but she's an Ohio girl at heart. All right, well, tonight we hope to inspire you, energize you, and remind you of the critical importance of the work you are doing for cancer research, not only this weekend, but throughout the entire year. All right, are we ready? Are you guys ready to get the show going? You ready to get started? All right, let's get the show going.
Hello, Pelotonia community. Michael Buffer here. In 2008, I was diagnosed with throat cancer and told that I may never speak again. Meaning, of course, I'd have to leave the career I love. But thanks to a supportive community and successful treatment, I am now, after 14 years, cancer-free today. Keep up the legendary work. You are making a difference. Let's get ready to ride.
Aha. All right. Please join me in welcoming the... Oh, where? Oh, hi. You know, you guys, this is the new nature of things. I'm used to Zoom, okay? We do everything on Zoom these days. Hi, nice to meet you. Please welcome me. Please join me in welcoming Doug Ulman, our CEO of Pelotonia.
Thank you, Kamie. It is so incredible to look out and see all of you tonight. I want to thank Kamie for being here. I want to thank my dear friend Dante Washington. Many people don't know this, but Dante and I actually grew up together, hundreds of miles from here. And to see the passion that he and Holly and his entire family have put into Pelotonia over the last 9 years is nothing short of remarkable. I also want to take a minute to thank Jimmy and Dee Haslam, Pete Edwards, Tim Bezbachenko, I see you down here, 100-mile rider, and Steve Lyons and the entire crew organization for welcoming us tonight into their new home. This feels like a family reunion. It's been 24 months in the making. I've enjoyed seeing so many of your faces on Zoom, but it's not the same. It's not the same as seeing you tonight. And looking out at all of you legendary individuals is inspiring. I want to take a minute to thank our partners at Ohio State, the doctors, the scientists, the nurses, the administrative staff. Think about how hard they have worked over the last 18 months to keep our community safe. Join me in a round of applause for everybody at the Medical Center and the James. I also want to give a special shout out to Dr. David Cohn, who is the Chief Medical Officer at the James. Some of you know David. He is an incredibly talented cyclist. He will be in the front pack tomorrow, riding 100 miles and 100 on Sunday. But David has been on the phone with our team almost every day since March of 2020, helping us plan what we hope will be a legendary experience for all of you this weekend. So a round of applause for David Cohn. I also want to thank my colleagues at Pelotonia and our board. Many of you have gotten to know our incredible team. And just like all of you, over the last 2 years, they've had to innovate and adapt and change and iterate just to bring us to this weekend. So a big round of applause for my colleagues and our board seated over here. Last but not least, we are so proud of our 100% commitment to funding research at the James at Ohio State. And that is only possible because of our funding partners who cover all of the administrative costs so that every dollar you raise, whether you're doing a lemonade stand or a bake sale or a gala, goes directly to groundbreaking, life-saving research. Let's hear it for our funding partners. And last, but certainly not least, the volunteers. This weekend, they're going to serve you the best peanut butter and jelly sandwiches you've ever had. They're going to fill up your water bottle so you don't have to touch anything. They're going to cheer for you all along the route. And it's going to be the most beautiful thing when you thank them and they thank you. Our volunteers represent the best of humanity. Seeing all of you brings hope. It brings optimism. And there are so many legends among us. I know that Mike Velo is here tonight. Mike's daughter, Emmy, is 3 years old and currently undergoing cancer therapy. I know that Matt and Kate Hare are here. Their son, Callahan, was diagnosed with cancer the day he came into this world, and he is undergoing therapy and inspiring all of us every single day. And I want to give a shout out to the Rader family. Some of you may know Michael Rader. Michael was the longtime captain of the Big Lots Peloton. And just a few months ago, his son Brandon was diagnosed with cancer. Today, just a few hours ago, Brandon finished his therapy and rang the bell and will celebrate with all of us this weekend. I think I see my friend Jim Coleman. Jim and his wife Nancy and their son Declan have been through it all during the last year and a half. Nancy underwent therapy, wasn't able to have visitors, and so many of you showed up outside of the James with signs and cheered and waved to her, and she looked at you from her room, gaining inspiration from this community. I see Shannon Peterson, the team leader of Stephanie's Team of Hope, who this year is riding for her sister Kelly, who's undergoing therapy at this time. We're with you, Shannon, and your entire family. And I know Jenny Wilson is here, a longtime rider who this year decided to do 200 miles in honor of her brother who's being treated at the James. We all have a story. I know Steve Miner is among us, Gabe Gemberling, Shannon Reese, and Stephanie Lewis, and you're going to hear from them momentarily in video form as they share their survivorship journey. We also have some newcomers to the community. Is Abigail McLean here? First-time rider. Abigail has raised over $20,000, but more spectacular than that, she rode her bike every single day of her radiation therapy treatment to get to this point to ride with all of you tomorrow. Last year, we allowed you to chart your own course, and this year, many of you continued to do that. Our friend Jamie Houston is sitting over here. He just rode his bike from Southern California to Columbus, Ohio, and he'll be out there with you tomorrow. Rich Broderick and Rich Moore and friends rode from Cumberland, Maryland to Washington, D.C. a few weeks ago to do their Pelotonia journey. And tomorrow, Anna Geisbuehler and her friends and family will ride in San Francisco in honor of her dad, George, who rode every single year until his untimely passing earlier this year. Now, I get to look out and I see all the shirts and jerseys. I see the midnight train from Georgia is back again. I see Team Grandview Heights. I see Team Granville, which more of you will experience tomorrow than ever before. I see Team Bexley, and I know they can't wait to welcome you through their community tomorrow. And of course, Simply Community, the Peloton that's about to cross $3 million raised thus far for cancer research. Tomorrow, so many of us will ride for those who are no longer with us. We ride for Shin. We ride for George. We ride for Patrick and Paul and David. We ride for Wendy. And we ride for the researchers, many of whom are wearing red shirts tonight that say, Pelotonia funded my research. Let's give all of our scientific researchers a huge round of applause. Every single one of you here tonight is a legend. And legends are special because they go above and beyond. And they don't seek recognition. And the beautiful thing about legends is that they're all around us. They're our friends, our colleagues, our neighbors, and our family. You are truly legendary. And I just want to say on a personal note, tomorrow will be 25 years from the time I set foot into a hospital and started my own cancer journey. And I can't think of a better community to spend this weekend with than all of you. So let's hear from more of you, the Pelotonia community. Let's take a look.
Legends, it is time for Pelotonia 2021. I have just one reminder for you. Take in every moment of this weekend. You know, you can train and train and train and ride 1,000 miles to get ready for your ride, but nothing can compare to what it feels like to be here. So remember this feeling.
Hey Pelotonia family, Chris Havey from OPOC.US, captain of Team OPOC. Super excited to get started this year on the ride. We're ready to be back and riding out there with you all.
But this year is especially special because I am team captain of Black Girls Do Bike. We have 15 women who are devoted to the one goal of ending cancer.
The feelings that you will experience are simply indescribable to me. Yes, your back may get sore, and your legs will definitely hate you on Sunday morning, and you're probably going to do a search first thing Monday morning for a new bike seat cushion. But I assure you, it's all worth it.
Hey everybody, Nikki Smith here with my faithful companion Ryan, out on a ride today. 10-year rider, 2-time high roller, and lifetime Pelotonia family member.
Hi everyone, my name is Melanie March and I am the captain of the CYP Club Peloton. We are so excited to be a first-year Peloton, and I'm so inspired by my teammates as they fundraise, as they reach their goals as challengers, and as they volunteer during Pelotonia weekend.
The cowbells, the signs, they excite us and help us get to the finish line. Huge thank you, and let's have a great ride this year.
I'm Deanna, and on behalf of Team Scott's Miracle, many thanks to everyone in this cancer fighting community for all that you do.
One goal, everybody.
All right, let me hear some noise again from the Buckeyes in the house. Please join me in welcoming the president of The Ohio State University, Dr. Kristina Johnson. Dr. Johnson, thank you so much for joining us. So you are preparing to ride in Pelotonia for the first time tomorrow as an honorary captain of Team Buckeye. First of all, how do you feel about that?
Well, Kamie, thank you very much. I feel pretty good, but I can relate to my shoulders being sore, and I probably haven't been on a bike since I was 12 until I started. So, you know, I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
Yeah, same. How has cancer personally touched your life, and what did you learn from the experience?
But Kamie, this ride, this movement, and this mission are personal. Because like Doug, I was diagnosed with cancer when I was a student. And I just started graduate school at Stanford. And I remember the diagnosis, and I remember thinking, oh my, this is probably the worst thing I could hear, until the doctor said, well, you have Hodgkin's disease, but if it's caught in the early stages, you can be cured. And I never looked back. And I was just so fortunate that I was at a place like Ohio State where great teams of researchers were working together. And one of those in the 50s was Dr. Henry S. Kaplan. He was the first time that he thought about using a linear particle accelerator that frankly he had heard about in cocktail parties on campus, that this was a fundamental change in the way we can deliver high energy to probe atoms. And he thought, well, if it can break up atoms with that kind of force, maybe it could kill cancer. So he went over and he talked to an engineer who was one of the designers of the Stanford Linear Accelerator, and he said, can we take this 2-mile accelerator and shrink it down into a machine that can fit inside a hospital? And they did. And then in about the 60s, Henry S. Kaplan started using that medical accelerator to focus on treating Hodgkin's. And I came along in the 70s, and I just was there at the right time in the right place. So although when I was a graduate student, my biggest dream was to become the president of The Ohio State University. But I had another dream, which is I wanted to be an Olympian. I was training really hard for field hockey, and it just wasn't meant to be. That diagnosis with lymphoma really kind of set me off into a different path, which I'm very pleased about, of course. So what it taught me is that great universities like The Ohio State University, you have teams of cross-disciplinary researchers. You have physicians that talk to engineers and physicists and biologists and social scientists and artists. And they figure out ways to put together solutions to some of the world's greatest problems, like curing cancer. So I experienced firsthand how crucial it is, the support that we're all raising today, to be applied to coming up with a cure for cancer. And I couldn't be more proud to be here, to be one of you all, and to work together. But if it's okay, Kamie, can I ask the audience a couple questions?
Oh, absolutely. They're ready, right? We're ready to answer some questions?
All right. So I have a question for all of you. How many of you are cancer survivors? Raise your hand. Wow. How many of you have loved ones who are cancer survivors? Raise your hand. Wow, that's intense. And how many of you have lost someone to cancer? Right. And how many of you want to be sure that cancer never has a chance to take someone we love away from us ever again? I want to thank Doug Ulman and Joe Apgar for steering us towards this beautiful goal. And I want to thank every single rider that's here and volunteer for bringing us so much closer to that cancer-free goal. Thank you, Kamie.
Thank you so much, President Johnson. And we know that you are so personally and passionately committed to the cause, and we thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being the president of the best university, right? Thank you. And we also know that Ohio State has an unbelievable cancer program.
There's power in words, but there's more power in us. We may stand in the face of cancer, but you stand at our backs, giving more, doing more than we thought we could ask. You give in body, in effort, and time, an inspiration to cross each finish line. Every pedal, every dollar, every you got this and holler. 227 million given so far, with the promise that we'll turn those dollars into something more. New research, new treatments, new recruits, and new hope. Have you ever said no? We didn't think so. Your passion fuels grants for him and her and her. Your dedication fuels research here and here and there. But even greater than that, your spirit inspires us to the ultimate promise that will continue to reach, to strive, to dream of what hasn't been tried. The James at The Ohio State University. A big name, but a bigger vision. A cancer-free world. We are relentless in our work, but we don't work alone. You give your time, your money, your passion, it shows. And what does it mean? When 100% of every dollar goes to her, and him, and her, and all the others who face this disease and say, I think we can do more. When your dollars fund the next generation, who might be the generation to end cancer? Is there a greater answer? We don't stop because you don't stop. Every fellowship funded, every new clinical trial, every idea brought to life because you made it possible. For this lab, for this study, this time to explore a new way to stop this disease. Each one of you who pedals forward for the 10th time or the first time. Each one of you who cheers, who supports, who hugs at the finish line. Each one of you who makes this event happen makes us proud to say tonight, we are the James. And because of you, a cancer-free world is in our sights.
I'd like to welcome two of the leaders from the cancer program at Ohio State to join us now. Dr. Rafe Pollock, Director of the Ohio State University Comprehensive Cancer Center, and Dr. William Farr, CEO of the James Cancer Hospital and Solove Research Institute. Welcome, welcome. Love the Pelotonia outfit. Looks fantastic. All right. Dr. Farr, you've been a breast cancer surgeon for more than 40 years, and you're leading the third largest cancer hospital in the United States. Can you please tell us what the past year has been like for the James and why Pelotonia is so meaningful?
Well, thank you very much, Kamie, and I'm truly privileged and honored to lead the James, which is not only a world-class cancer hospital, but that's, as you heard, the third largest cancer hospital in the country. But for me, an even greater honor is the opportunity I've had over 4 decades to treat thousands of cancer patients and to witness firsthand the many advances in cancer care, especially the ones that I've seen at the James since it opened 31 years ago. Treatment options today are much less toxic and deliver better results and lead to a better quality of life and more hope for our patients. Pelotonia and the Pelotonia community have certainly played a major role in moving forward these significant advances and innovations. The COVID-19 pandemic has really made the past 16 months more challenging than any time in our history. Our entire faculty and staff heroically adapted to the extraordinary safety measures while continuing to provide the best cancer care possible. Despite the challenges we've all faced, we've never wavered in the pursuit of the cancer-free world. We continue to offer hundreds of clinical trials to our patients, providing the very latest treatments available. Our disease-specific oncologists work every day to provide personalized treatment targeting each person's biologically unique cancer. These unique cancers require unique treatments, and that is exactly what our researchers do. Through translational research, we're continuously expanding the number of precision medicine and immuno-oncology options available to our patients, leading to less side effects and better outcomes. These targeted treatments are truly changing our approach to cancer care, leading us toward a cancer-free world. I would like to personally thank each and every one of you participating in this great event and for your ongoing efforts, support, and passion for all our cancer patients at the James. The Pelotonia community provides a remarkable opportunity to elevate and bring attention to the challenges and importance of cancer research. It's truly an exciting time to be part of this community. Thank you all again for being here tonight, for participating in Pelotonia, and I hope to see you on the ride tomorrow. Thank you so very, very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Farr. I know we've all been affected by COVID-19. Hands up if you've been affected by COVID-19 in some kind of way. I got it twice, so there's no shame. I'm COVID-free now, of course. But I can only imagine the struggles that you guys have been going through, so it's incredible that you've been able to work through all of that, so thank you. All right, Dr. Pollock, as a leader in the Comprehensive Cancer Center, you're charged with the strategy of investing the funds that this community raises. As both a scientist and a cancer survivor, what is your approach to that?
Thanks, Kamie. It's true that I have the perspective of both being a cancer care provider as well as a cancer survivor. I was diagnosed in January of 2017 with a disease called chronic lymphocytic leukemia, a type of blood cancer that is also known as CLL. And since then, I've learned what it's like to live with an incurable but frequently manageable malignancy, to participate in a clinical trial, to feel cancer fatigue, and the financial burdens and the side effects of cancer treatment. I'm particularly grateful to the Pelotonia community because money raised by all of you supported the Pelotonia Idea Grants program, a program that provides teams of OSU faculty scientists with seed money to pursue innovative ideas that may later be funded by larger grants from the National Cancer Institute. An idea grant supported by Pelotonia contributed to our studies of the drug ibrutinib that has revolutionized the treatment of CLL by targeting a molecular pathway that is needed by CLL cells in order to grow and progress. As a patient at the James, I was enrolled in a clinical trial involving ibrutinib, which helped us to successfully gain control of my cancer. I have subsequently been switched to a second-generation version of ibrutinib called acalabrutinib, an even more selective drug with fewer side effects, for which OSU cancer researchers played a key role, also supported by Pelotonia. I still have active leukemia and will need to remain on acalabrutinib for the rest of my life. But it is enabling me to continue my work as a cancer physician scientist and as director of the Ohio State University Comprehensive Cancer Center. I and my family thank you for all that you are doing in the fight against cancer, including your help in developing the drug that is enabling me to remain alive. Our work is far from finished. We must continue to raise funds for cancer research so that we can afford the many initiatives supported by Pelotonia as we continue our journey towards a cancer-free world. Thank you for all that you are doing.
Wow. Thank you so much, Dr. Pollock. I know we are all so inspired by your story. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you all for being here. Now, Dr. Johnson, when you hear about this incredible research and you look out into the community, what gives you optimism about the future?
What gives me optimism about the future is everybody that's here. Because you see, 60 years ago, the cancer that I had was a certain death. And 40 years ago, when I was treated, the advances were good enough, obviously, but they've gotten better. What happened 40 years ago when I was treated, they were good enough, and we don't want the perfect to be the enemy of the good, but they still were not so focused. Today, the treatment is so focused that you don't get some of the heart tissue when you get treated, which is what happened to me, which is why I have a pacemaker. They're so good now that survivors of Hodgkin's disease go on to be Olympians. Today, our machines are so good, and we all had a chance to go and tour them with President Biden and just see how far our equipment and technology has come. And as Dr. Farr, as you pointed out, precision medicine and immunotherapy means cancers that are within our sight that traditionally maybe didn't have as good a prognosis in the future will have a great prognosis. You know, the future is bright, and it's because the funds that we're raising are going to go to support bold ideas. They're going to support the Pelotonia Fellows. They're going to get young people, mid-career people being mentored by physicians to come up with the cures that we need in the future. So I'm pretty excited about that, and I'm pretty optimistic. And I just would like to conclude by saying thank you all for being on this journey. Thank you for what we're going to do tomorrow, and let's have a great ride.
Thank you guys so much. As I said before, you know, my family has a huge connection to Pelotonia. My dad, who's over there, he's not going to want me to call him out, but he's on the board of Pelotonia. And on top of that, you know, I mentioned my grandfather who passed away from pancreatic cancer, but at the time of his diagnosis, we were told we were only going to have 6 months with him. And because of research, because of the work that you all are doing, because of this community, because of treatment and advancements, we were able to have 2 years with him that we never thought that we would have. So thank you all so much for being here, and thank you for having me, and thank you for all of the work that you're doing. All right, well, before these three incredible leaders leave us this evening, I want to take a moment to recognize their hard work and leadership over the past year, as well as the sacrifice that all of our healthcare workers have made to keep us all safe. If you're a healthcare worker or a researcher, can you please stand so we can give you all of your flowers right now? Please stand. Healthcare workers, researchers. You deserve all of the praise. Thank you so, so much for everything you've done, not just for this cause, but through the pandemic and everything that you have done. We appreciate you so much. Thank you. All right, now let's check in on a friend on the other side of the world.
Hey there, everybody. It's Sanjay Gupta here in Tokyo. Gotta tell you, I am surrounded here in Tokyo by the best athletes in the world. People who are at the top of their game, who've been training their whole lives to do the incredible, seemingly impossible things. But as I'm here, I'm also reminded of all of you, the legends, and what you do for cancer research, taking care of patients, turning lives around, and again, sometimes doing the seemingly impossible. So even though I'm all the way across the world here with these Olympic athletes, I'm thinking of you, I salute you, and I hope you're inspired, as I am, to continue doing this really important work. Hope to see you soon.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome cancer survivor, 11-time rider, and Pelotonia's president, Joe Apgar.
Thank you. So what a cool video from Sanjay. He rode in 2019 from Tokyo. He recorded that video for us. And speaking of Tokyo, we've got a special guest tonight, one of the best triathletes in the world, a 10-year cancer survivor, and now an Olympic silver medalist, Kevin McDowell. So, a lot of people know there were no fans at the Olympics this year, but we've got some fans here. So I want to do a little silver medal ceremony for Kevin. And I want you all to give him a standing ovation. So let's do this. So Kevin, congratulations on being an Olympic silver medalist.
Thank you, guys.
Wow. So welcome to Columbus. Welcome to Pelotonia weekend.
Man, thank you guys for having me here. I'm literally speechless right now, just seeing all this. And when I got asked to come here a few days ago, I was all about it. And like hearing everything that you guys stand for is just everything, and just coming here and just, I mean, seeing all you guys coming here and raising this event, and then, I mean, I don't know what to say right now. I'm blown away. You guys are amazing. You guys are the reason why like people like me are here today, still alive. So thank you guys.
So I want to talk about the Olympics a little bit. So you finished 6th in the individual triathlon. Is the highest placing ever for a U.S. triathlete at the Olympics. You had the fastest bike split in the entire Olympics. And then in the mixed triathlon relay, your team took home silver. So yeah. What was that experience like?
I mean, honestly, after the Olympics, I was kind of like, yeah, we didn't win, but I feel like I won the Olympics. Mainly just from the entire experience. I went into this games and I was like, I want to have no expectations on outcome. I want to go there, have no regrets. I want to experience this whole thing from just like meeting friends there, enjoying the moment, the lead up, the build, because it's been quite a journey to get there. So then I think when I took away the focus from the outcome results, the results actually followed. And then I surpassed all expectations I had in the individual race. I was joking with people the days before that I was like, you know, a top 8 would be incredible. I'd be over the moon. But I honestly didn't really believe that to the extent. So when I was out there racing and in contention for a medal in the individual one, I that was where I drew back on my entire community and friends and everyone that has been a part of me through this whole journey. And then to go then and race a few days later as a team with 2 girls and another male and represent the USA and become one team and walk away with the silver, that was a pretty special moment. So, I mean, it was unbelievable.
Well, it's safe to say you represented us very well. So, your story captivated a lot of people. You were diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma when you were 18.
Yeah.
What was it like being diagnosed with cancer? You're young, you're 18, you're a phenomenal athlete. Like, what was that like?
Yeah, you know, it spun my world upside down. I mean, at that point, the year before, I was 3rd at Worlds. I was in my final year as a junior, so I was going in with the goal to win the Junior World Championship that year. I actually went, and days before, raced my first professional race and exceeded all expectations there, so I was super excited with everything going on. And I had this weird lump in my neck. My mom's a nurse. She's like, all right, let's go. She was actually not sleeping that night, but she actually took me in the next day to her office, got scans, did everything. Next day, I'm out and about. I was actually doing a talk with some people. Parents call me home, sit me at the table, and they're like, you have cancer. And I didn't know what to think at the point. At that point, we didn't know what we had. A few days later, we learned it was Hodgkin's lymphoma. So then we knew it was a very 95% cure rate. So we were pretty, I mean, it sounds weird, but we were happy about that at least because we knew a pathway to do. It was just going to be I had 6 months of chemotherapy to go through. It's pretty intense. But I drew back on the community that I had and all the friends and family. And honestly, one of the big reasons why I made it through how I did was my first day going into chemo. I was extremely nervous, didn't know what to expect. One lady who was finishing up her battle with cancer and was winning in her final chemo came up to me and she's like, listen, live your life as normal as possible. Don't be sitting here, man, what am I missing in all this? And just focus, thinking about all the negatives. She's like, turn it into what can I do, not what can't I do. So through this whole battle with the cancer, I was like, what can I do? I was like, okay, yeah, I'm not able to go and race at the highest level I want to, but I still can go out and run. I can still hang out with friends on my good days. I can do this. So I changed the mindset, and it carried me through that whole thing. And now it was a very, very long road to get back. There were a lot of obstacles. Honestly, after cancer, it was a lot tougher at times getting back to the elite sport. But, I mean, and now I'm here today, so it's been worth it in the end.
What's it feel like?
Thank you, guys.
What's it feel like now to be called a cancer survivor, to be recognized as a cancer survivor, knowing everything you've been through? What's that feel like? What's that mean to you?
I mean, I think it means everything. I mean, when you hear those words, you're cancer-free, that's the biggest victory you can basically have. I mean, it's what everyone's been working for when you're diagnosed. So I felt like it was the most, I felt like a champion. That year, I didn't win the Junior Worlds like I want, but I won a battle of cancer. And I found like that was a bigger victory because now I'm here today. And I honestly did struggle a little bit because going through it, I met so many incredible people where I was then I was so fortunate to make it through how I did that I kind of had in a way a little bit of the survivor's guilt. So I actually had to struggle with that a bit too. But then I looked, I can shape this into a story and provide hope and show what you can do through all this, even the battle. So yeah.
So I mean, it's pretty amazing in a decade, in a 10-year span, you went from the lowest of the low to now the highest of highs. And what do you take from that? What'd you learn?
You know, honestly, in the games, I think I was driven through, what we were talking here in this community here, was the community. It wasn't just me that got it through. Honestly, yes, I was the one going through the chemo, doing the battles, but I wouldn't have been there without the community and support I got. And honestly, there's been so many people along this journey that I can't even keep track of. When I was in the games, I got actually a bunch of letters sent to me and a bunch of different things. And it was overwhelming support that I was thinking of all these people that have been a part of it. And I think that's what drove me in the race, to have the best races I've ever had in my life. People were kind of blown away, what made you do this? And it was honestly all the people that have backed me from day one, even when I didn't back myself. So it's because of them and all these people that have had an impact through my life. And I mean, it's like the people like you here today, like the organizations that have helped me when I was battling and giving me support and getting me back on my feet when I was really struggling in the deep down battling cancer. So it's like, it's everyone.
So speaking of community, I think it's safe to say you're standing in front of one of the most selfless, authentic, generous, amazing communities I've ever been a part of. And so what do you want to leave us with? What message do you have for everyone?
I mean, the fact that all the donations here go directly to research, that's huge to me. Because I'm very big on knowing there's a bunch of charities out there, but a lot of times you learn it's only 40 cents to the dollar actually go to what you think you're donating to. So for this organization here, knowing all the money raised goes directly there, I was all about that. And so I'm excited to be here. And you know what? I'm going to be out there tomorrow on the ride, riding with you all. And so I've got my bike here. So let's have a great day and a great weekend. And I'm here to celebrate. So thank you all.
Well, awesome. Let's give him one more round of applause, standing ovation.
Thank you, guys.
Silver medalist, Kevin McDowell.
Thank you, man.
I was finally diagnosed on May 24th, 2012.
On May 17th, 2018.
On January 8th last year, my perspective changed. I was diagnosed.
You have cancer. Words that can bring you to your knees and words that can bring out the warrior and even the most timid.
Everything within our lives changed as our world centered around my treatment.
What was I to do? Run from my shadow or embrace the forthcoming change?
And my prospects for survival looked decidedly dire.
At that moment, I quivered in fear but stood strong to exemplify my resilience for the people around me.
My husband was devastated and did his very best to hold it together.
Suddenly, I was no longer just a supporter of the James, but I was also now a patient.
We sat with a team of doctors at the James for hours as they devised a plan to save my life.
After a traumatic surgery,
an 11-hour surgery,
I am being treated at the Pelotonia Institute for Immuno-Oncology.
Radiation, chemo, physical therapy, and then recovery.
My treatments have been nothing short of miraculous.
Overwhelming love and support.
Healthy lymph nodes, and no signs of spread.
Our team of doctors is now a part of my family.
The doctors and the nurses at the James gave me real hope.
It was the greatest Christmas gift for my family and me.
My daughters have spent countless hours at the James, and they know my team of doctors by name.
My first ride was for me, a way to heal and turn a bad situation into something good.
This community of healthcare workers and advocates has changed my and my family's lives in ways we will never be able to express our gratitude for.
But it didn't take long for me to begin writing for you in your lifetime.
I am deeply grateful to these people, and I owe them more than I can ever repay.
My daughters came to recognize the Pelotonia arrow during their numerous visits to the James.
Pelotonia donations fund the brightest minds, determined to solve the cancer puzzle through research, technology advancements, and early detection and prevention programs.
They grew an understanding and appreciation for that arrow as they saw firsthand how Pelotonia funds research and specialized care for patients.
At age 64, my writing years may soon be coming to a close, but when that happens, I will stand along the route and hold my own sign.
The difference you are making matters. You are helping to save lives.
My story starts at the James and stops at the finish line of Pelotonia.
One day, one goal. Shannon Reese.
You are making a difference, and we are so proud of you. Sincerely, Stephanie Lewis.
All of you have changed my life, and I cannot thank you enough. Sincerely, Gabe Gemberling.
Proudly and gratefully thanking the writers. Sincerely, Steve Miner. Wow. That is an amazing story.
Please welcome 12-year writer and survivor, Irene Adams.
Hello, Pelotonia people. Pelotonia people are my favorite kind of people. They're not your everyday kind of people. They care differently. When I was asked by Doug why I ride and why I support Pelotonia, I thought about the past 11 years of my life, and all I could come up with was great memories. The first thing I thought about was my family. They have endlessly supported me and done absolutely everything it takes to get me to where I am standing right now. I thought about every single person that I met while riding my bike. That's a community that I could never have collected in my lifetime. I thought about the Girls with Gears Peloton. The training that I have done with them will help me ride 2 days, 200 miles this weekend. And then the last thing I thought about was the very first time I rode Pelotonia. It was 10 months to the day after my surgery. And all I kept thinking was, I need to get well and ride Pelotonia. Pelotonia gave me that hope that nothing else could do. It was my focus, it was my complete purpose for those 10 months. Now, when I crossed the finish line, I said a few choice words about cancer. Yes, I did. And then I never looked back. Cancer thinks it can do things, but cancer will never, ever take your hope away. It is my absolute privilege tonight to present the 2021 Mary Hyatt Courage Award, which was created to recognize a cancer survivor who embodies courage, perseverance, and grit. It's also an award that moves the Pelotonia mission forward through grassroots activism, leadership, and fundraising. Please join me in watching this short video to remember Mary.
Went into the doctor, kept saying I wasn't feeling well, something felt weird, and surprisingly got diagnosed with cancer. Very rare cancer, squamous cell, anal cancer. I had 0 risk factors for it. Nobody was expecting it. No history of cancer. There's not many people like my case, my type of cancer, but I know what happens here affects people with cancer around the world, unlike so many other places where you're helping the hospital that helps this is research that applies to everybody. And I know here all this funding is going to so many different types of cancers, but for the people that have those really rare cancers that there aren't very many clinical trials, Pelotonia dollars give hope. Pelotonia dollars is so much more than simply a number. To anyone that has anything to do with this event, I cannot begin to say thank you enough. Together we're unstoppable. That's how we do this attitude of hope, the research that gets done. So thank you to everybody.
Now please join me in welcoming Mary's husband, Rob, and her two sisters, Margaret and Laura. They will join me as we present this special award in Mary's honor and memory. We are also joined by their family in the stand. Tonight, I would like to introduce the recipient of this outstanding award. He has dedicated his professional life to raising funds for cancer research. Having worked at cancer nonprofits for more than a decade, he has participated in Pelotonia 6 times, and he has personally raised over $140,000. He has watched friends and family members, like his own mother, who is here with us tonight, go through their own cancer journey. Yet none of this could have prepared him for his journey when he was diagnosed last year with a very rare sarcoma. During his courageous fight and treatment at the James, Michael's endless positivity, optimism, and courage inspired everyone. He embodies both the spirit of this award and the spirit of this community. Moreover, I am honored to call him a friend. His words that have inspired me the most were the words when he started this journey. I am calm, I am brave, I am ready for this. Please stand and congratulate the 2021 Mary Hyatt Courage Award winner, Michael Nestor.
Thank you to Irene and the Hyatt family for this amazing honor. I am so delighted to be back here in Columbus, Ohio with all of you for Pelotonia weekend. What a thrill. I'm so honored and humbled by this recognition and vow to continue to keep Mary's legacy and her spirit with me as I continue to fight my fight. I also want to take this opportunity to thank all of the amazing nurses and social workers, doctors, and surgeons at the James who took such incredible care of me last fall. I will never forget their kindness, especially among the backdrop of the double whammy of COVID and cancer. Will you guys join me in giving a very loud round of applause for all of the workers at the James right this minute? I also want to recognize 2 Pelotonia riders who were part of my care team at the James. Dr. Roman Skaracki and Dr. Joel Mererson. They worked hard together in collaboration to handle my amputation surgery and put me on a path back towards health, hope, mobility, and strength. And I will always be grateful to you both. Thank you. I had grand plans of returning this year to ride with all of you, but unfortunately, cancer got in the way. But make no mistake, come hell or high water, I will be back to ride in 2022. In the meantime, thank you so much for all of your prayers and good wishes and kind words. And please keep them coming as they make a huge difference as I continue to fight. And finally, I want to say thank you to my former colleagues at Pelotonia, the current team, and my amazing family here gathered today. I love all of you with all of my heart, and I could never get through this without your support. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful ride, and I'll see you in 2022.
We have heard from some amazing survivors tonight. Let's give it up one more time for all of our survivors in the building, all the ones that couldn't be here tonight. We love you. 2 years ago, the Pelotonia community made a pledge to establish the Pelotonia Institute for Immuno-Oncology, and the goal of the institute is to develop treatments that utilize the body's own immune system. The work of the institute is made possible by all of you. Let's check in with Inaugural Director, Dr. Zihai Li, on what's been accomplished for the past 2 years and what's to come.
The only thing we don't have is that luxury of time. We got to hurry, because for each individual patient who's suffering, who's dying, they need a solution. They need an answer. They cannot wait for next year, next month, or next week even. My name is Dr. Zihai Li. I am the founding director of the Pelotonia Institute for Immuno-Oncology here at the James Comprehensive Cancer Center. As a director, my job is to lead a collective effort to march towards finding the next generation immuno-oncology drugs. Combined with other therapies, we hope we are contributing to creating this cancer-free world. So it is the stubborn hope, if you will, that drives me. It is curiosity, it is service, it is doing something good. The current state of cancer research is full of promises and tremendous excitement. Right now, we know cancer can be dealt with by the immune system. So I think we are right there on the verge of making breakthroughs to utilize the immune system at will to fight cancer. The COVID-19 pandemic actually underscores the importance of research, underscores the importance of understanding the immune system. If we want to get out of this pandemic, we got to use the immune system. Same thing is true for cancer. The Farrar project is the collective effort of the researchers and physicians at the James Comprehensive Cancer Center to understand how patients with cancer respond to the COVID-19 vaccine. Last a year or so, we launched a 550 patient prospective trial. They are being managed actively for their cancer, but at the same time, they are receiving the COVID-19 vaccine. And this is one of the largest prospective vaccine trial for patients with cancer. Pelotonia is not an organization, it's not an individual, it's not an activity. It's a big movement. It's a movement that supports cancer research. I have been blown away by the participation of everyone here in Greater Columbus area. The emotion was very hard to describe. I saw folks who were riding with their IV line hanging from their body. In other words, patients were riding. I see cancer survivors riding. I see folks lining on the street, cheering all the riders and cheering this movement that somehow we're riding this course not a biking course, but a course towards cancer cure. With persistence, with enough of people who do not take no as answer, we see the hope of what we do in saving people's life. Pelotonia is not about one individual. It's not even about one disease. It's about the collective group of people who will take cancer fighting spirit personally. Your contribution, your effort, your donation have made a big difference. I would say to the community, thank you very much for doing this. And you are not alone, we are with you. We work together in this fight against cancer.
We are so lucky to have Dr. Zihai Li with us at the James at Ohio State. He'll be riding with us tomorrow. He is truly legendary, and this institute is making an enormous impact.
Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for your enthusiasm and your passion. We really could not do this without you, so a round of applause for all of you for being here tonight. Thank you so much.
You know, many of us were captivated back in June when a young woman from Ohio took the stage at America's Got Talent. And many of you followed the story of Nightbird. And we know that she had to pull out of the America's Got Talent finals that were to be taped next week in Los Angeles. And I thought I would just share this with you because tomorrow when you're on those hills and it gets a little hot and it gets a little humid and your water bottle is getting low, just share with you a quote that she uttered this very week. And she said, "Don't you want to find out what happens when you don't give up?" Think about that. When you're on the bike tomorrow, you won't give up. And the Pelotonia movement certainly will not give up. Thank you for being legendary. Thank you for what you have done and what you continue to do. I can't wait to be out there with you tomorrow, and it's going to be a phenomenal weekend.
Yes. Well, thank you so much again. Thank you for being here. There's not really much more to say, so let's end the night with this amazing video together.
Thank you. That concludes our program, ladies and gentlemen. Have a safe ride and continue.